which is another interesting aspect to the story, I guess. 0344 499 1000. We began talking about antisocial behaviour at the beginning of the programme. Let's continue on that point. Simon in Northampton. What are you thinking, Simon, on this one? Hi.
Hi, Ian. I just wanted to say, because I've got my own experience, and it links into the Rolf Harris story that you mentioned. What I think it is, with antisocial behaviour, as with any kind of crime, if people have a lack of faith in the police, that they're not going to do anything, this turns people off actually reporting it,
Yep.
which in turn just empowers the hoodlums and the hooligans to go about and act as they please. I mean, my own personal story, I'll cut it down and make it as brief as possible. I was sexually assaulted by someone that was in the papers because they'd murdered someone. That's what caused me to come forward.
Right.
Gave a statement about it to the police. Obviously, not a very pretty set of circumstances. You give the statement. It was used in the murder trial. Said person went to prison for murder. But that crime I reported was never even logged with me being a victim of crime. I've chased that up. This happened nearly a decade ago. Complaints to chief constables, complaints, and you hide behind the bureaucracy and the procedure saying, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. So to this day, after 8 years, and the actual MG11 form being in several, like, superintendents, chief constables, inboxes, still not logged as a crime.
So is that because, I'm taking it completely stabbing in the dark here, Simon, is that because it was, to put it brutally, overshadowed by what they might have seen as a bigger crime?
I think so, yeah. I think the officer in charge saw it as, oh, this is good, this will beef up my case. But then having to log a separate crime and deal with that becomes, oh, that's a lot of paperwork. I can't be bothered with that. I'll just fob the person off.
So if you walked into a police station tomorrow and re-reported this crime, what would happen then? Would they not be forced to interview this person about this crime?
Well, this is the kind of position I'm in now. They say, well, you do need to re-log it as a crime if you want it dealt with. And then you get the argument, oh, but you've already logged it as a crime, so we've got a statement. You need to go back to this person to deal with that. You need to log a complaint. So it seems whatever argument they want to use to ignore it, it should never be. It's not been logged.
It should never be that hard to report any crime. It should certainly not be that hard to report a crime where they already have a problem with people reporting the crime, right?
Yeah, that's my point. But going back to the antisocial thing, for me, this is just kind of like a macrocosm for a bigger problem.
Yeah.
I just have no faith left in the police. So if there was a hoodlum throwing bricks at my windows, I think I can't get them to even look at a sexual assault after nearly 10 years.
Yeah, and why would you not think that? That is your brutal experience of dealing with the relevant authorities. I'm staggered by that, Simon. I'd never really considered it in that respect. So you've been interviewed about it, but was he ever interviewed about it?
As far as I know, no, because when I've complained to the police, they say there's no record of you being any victim of crime on our system. I've then given them evidence, and then they go, oh, yes, we found something. Now you've given us that, despite them never having it in the first place. Because the statement was used in the murder trial, it's a public record. They can't get away and hide from it.
Pretend it wasn't there, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your intention now?
I'm still going through all the process. You complain to the Police and Fire and Crime Commissioner.
Yeah.
You complain to the IOPC, but they then send it back to the same police force to investigate themselves. And you kind of you get dragged into this unending cycle of bureaucracy, and someone goes, well, I can't deal with that. That's Officer B that needs to deal with that. And, well, he can't deal with that. We've got to send it over to another person. So,
but you're not going to let it go.
Oh, no, I'm still making a nuisance of myself. I mean, I put a blog up recently about it on Twitter. That's got a lot of communication back from the police all of a sudden, but nothing to actually further matters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think from what you've said about the antisocial behaviour, with something like that, if you've got a crime of that severity, and
nothing's happening. Well, yeah, I mean that's a very powerful contrast based on your own brutal and horrendous experience. Simon, thank you. Please don't give up, because you can imagine how somebody who hasn't got all of that wherewithal and energy could just go, nobody wants to hear me. Nobody wants to listen to me. That's it from us. Thank you to Simon. Stan, we're back tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, of course. Drive with Vanessa Feltz on Talk TV is next.